to Blonde Cards and Crafts. Let's make something together. Hello crafters, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome back if you're a subscriber. Today we are going to make card number 8 using the August super kit from From Lizi. This kit is called Live, Laugh, Love, and it's a jam-packed kit. If you haven't seen what comes in this kit, I recommend you doing that. I have links down below in the description for my previous 7 cards. There will also be links to Lizi's website, to kit subscriptions, as well as the other 2 designers, Kristie and Alina, who are design team members for From Lizi. So I'll have links to their channels down below where you can go and see the inspiration that they have done for this kit. You can share your makes with us on our Facebook groups. Lizi has a Facebook group, From Lizi Facebook group, and I have a Facebook group called Your Cards and Crafts. So you can share your makes with us on our Facebook groups. Right, this card, card number 7, is a triple window card, and I'm going to do it on a DL size card. Now my DL size cards are based on my envelope size, so I generally cut my card at 8 by 8.5 and I score it at 4. That'll give me a 4 by 8.5 DL size. Now for this one, I'm going to have it so it's in this orientation. I have my score line ready, but I am going to do some die cutting on this, and that's why I haven't folded it yet. I have a pattern paper piece here. This piece measures 3 3/4 by 8 1/4, and I have some dies here because I want to die cut 3 windows into this. Now what I did was I took my piece of pattern paper and I found the middle of it and I did a line. I took a die, and I have 2 dies here. They're from 2 different sets. The smaller one, it die cuts out like this, and I have a little piece of cardstock to show you. So it die cuts out like that. It puts stitch lines on our die cut out piece, and it'll also have stitch lines on the piece that's left behind. So I'm going to use this for my smaller window or aperture. For the larger one then, I've used this die, and you can see here it has a cut line and stitch lines as well. So when you die cut this out, you'll get your piece that comes out like so, with the stitch lines around it, and then you have another piece that will come out like this. So if you can imagine this as our pattern paper piece, I'm going to die cut out, and I've done 2 already. I've 2 cut out already, and these little pieces can be used for something else. So I have 2 of these die cut out. Once I had my middle one die cut out, I was then able, you can measure if you like, but I just brought the die in and I kind of eyeballed that my gap would be the same. And I'm going to do the same now on this side. I'm going to eyeball my gap here. And I kind of focused the top of my die just under the red dots running across there. You'll also see I have marks on my dies, on that one and this one. I tend to put the halfway mark on my dies. Now you can use a pencil to mark them, or you can use a pokey tool. I just scratched along. I used a ruler, and then I just found where the center point was and I scratched the die. It doesn't affect the die, it's because we actually use it this side up, so it won't affect the die if you have scratches there, but it's just handy for when you're lining things up. So I brought the die so it was just under my red line of dots up here. I'm going to eyeball so that it's roughly about the same. It doesn't have to be perfect, guys. This is a handmade card. So now I can bring this piece to my die cutting machine and I can die cut this 3rd panel out. And I'm going to do that in a minute. I just want to explain what else I have going on here. So I'll move these out of the way. I don't want to distract you. This is our smaller die, so we'll be using that. I also have this strip of pattern paper here. It measures 8 1/4 by 3/4 of an inch, and I just it was an offcut, and I just thought it'd be nice to embellish the inside of our card. Now when this is in the inside of our card, you won't see it. I didn't want to put this piece on the inside of my card and you see it behind the window, so do be careful if you're adding a strip on the inside. I have embellished this using the peel-offs that came in the kit. We got these lovely red, this way up Simone, peel-offs that came, and they have a gold edging around them. They're beautiful. So I have one on this piece that's going to go inside, and I have put two on our front panel, and I have just popped them on there where I thought they'd be nice. I've also taken these two, I've cut these off the, we got two sheets with these cut aparts that you can take off them, and I've cut these two out. I felt the colouring would be nice to go with what we have going on here. So one is going to go in this window and the other will go behind in the other window. And then this here is a piece I stamped using the stamp set, and the just because, it's down here, just because I stamped that up using water, you know, Versamark ink, or you know, it leaves a watermark ink. The ink is a sticky ink, and you can put your embossing powder on it and then heat it up, and it gives this lovely shiny finish. So this piece is going to go behind our middle window, but it's going to get stuck onto our card base. So when the card is closed, you'll see this through the window, and when you open the card, this will be on the inside, so you'll be able to write your message inside the card. So that's all the pieces and parcels that we're going to need for this card. Like I said, I've die cut out my two openings on my pattern paper. I've just got to die cut out my third one, and this is the larger die of the two that I'm using. So I'm going to bring this over to my machine, and I'm going to die cut this out now. So I have die cut out my third panel now, and there it is. Keep your three pieces, you might use them for another project. This larger die we won't need. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this down into place, because we're going to use the smaller die. So I'm going to use my Collal glue to glue this down because it's nice and strong. But I would recommend, when you do glue something down like this and you're going to put it through your die machine, I have a Sizzix, that's what I use. I'm going to let this dry before I bring it to the machine, because I don't want any of the glue oozing out, and that's what can happen sometimes when you go sticking things down. You bring it over to your machine and then you start cutting things out. So now I'm going to pop this into place, and I should have a nice border going all the way around. Now I'm going to let the glue set on this before I start die cutting out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place my die in my opening like so. And because these aren't two dies from the same die set, they might be a little off. So I can see my top is a little bit wider than my sides, but that's okay. I'm just going to center it as best I can. I'm going to take my time, have my patience, and pop that in. And I'm going to pop down my tape there. Now I want to die cut this out. If your machine, if you don't have a bigger machine plate, what you can do is fold the back of your card over the top, because this won't cut anything. It might emboss into this panel a little bit, but you could always cover that with a matte layer if you want. But it's an easy way for you to actually bring this to your machine and cut it out. So if your card base won't go through, if you have just a Big Shot, I have the Big Shot Plus, so this will fit through. But if it won't fit through your machine, then fold this piece over on top and run it through, and it'll die cut out your opening, but it won't, you know, die cut out the back panel. So I'm going to bring this to my Big Shot Plus now, and I'm going to cut out this opening. So now I put that through my die cutting machine, and I placed a bit of computer paper over the top of it just so that it didn't get marked from my plates. And there we go, we have an aperture here now already. So now I'm going to remove my little square. I'm going to pop this into the next one, and I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to do my best to center it on the card base opening there. Once I'm happy with that, then we can add a little pressure down with the tape and run it through. And I'm going to do that for this one and this one and come back to you then once I've that done. And there is our third opening cut out. So I have a little bit there. And now we can fold over our card base. And I'll just make sure that that's nice and level. And then I can take my scoring tool and burnish that edge. Lovely. And there we go. We have our card base now with our 3 windows in it. So now we have our live, love, laugh and our happiness and joy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop those behind here, just like so. And I'm going to add a little bit of glue so they're glued on there. And I'm going to do the same with this one here. I'm going to glue that in there like that. And then I'm going to take my just because and I'm going to pop that in there. So I'll have it so it's kind of centered there like that. But then when you open the card, you'll see the just because inside. And that'll give us room then to write our message to the recipient. So I'm going to put you on high speed while I do this. So you can see here, this panel will sit on there with a little bit of glue around the edge. So I'm going to just take my quick grab glue now, and I'm going to glue this one and this one into position. So I'll put a little bit of glue all around the edge. So admittedly, a smaller sentiment might have looked better in my window, but I do like this one and I hadn't used it yet. So hence the reason going with that. There are other sentiments in there. You could have used the hello, the with love would have fit better in there. The for you would fit in there as well. The hello will fit in there. You could use the little heart. You could put the tree. So there are loads of sentiments, but I went with the just because. Just because. So that's lovely. Now I'm just going to burnish that score line again, and I'm going to burnish it from the back. And there we go, we have our lovely card. Now we have some pretty bows. We could pop a bow on there. I might just go all the bells and whistles. We have this little bow. We have the pink one. I don't think that'll go well with our red. And then there's the purple one as well. So we got 4 different types. I have to say, there's this one as well. Yes, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we got 5 different ribbon choices. So I think my preference would be either the blue one or this one. This is happiness and joy, or the flowers. I'm going to go with the blue one. I know you're probably all shouting at me, no, come on, don't. And I'm also going to embellish it using the gems that came in the kit as well. So to pop my ribbon on, I do like to use a little drop of hot glue. You can use some wet glue if you like. You can use some sticky dots if you want, but I do like using the glue. So I'm going to add just a little bit either side here because I don't want it to be seen. And I can pop that just over my window, and that will keep that in place there. Lovely. And now for our glue. So I'm going to pop a little bit of liquid glue down. These gems are really good. They have a great sticky on them, but I'm just going to add a little bit extra. So we have 5. The rule is generally to go with an odd number. It looks better on a card, so I've gone with the odd number there. And the only other thing I might do is add a little bit of glossy accents to our 2 side panels. So if you have glossy accents, accent glaze, I have some accent glaze in my stash, so I'm going to use a little of that and give it a shake up, and this will just add a little dimension to our cards without, you know, too much. So I'm going to add some in the end and our 2 flowers there, and that's all I'm going to do. It mightn't look like a lot, but on the card itself, you know, when the recipient, these are the little things. So there we go. There is our card number 8, which is our triple window card. And I love this. I know we've done a lot of die cutting. We die cut out our 3 panels from our card base and from our pattern paper, but I just think this is so different and so unusual. And I have to say, this is inspired by the lovely Lou Collins. I've seen a video that she did and I just loved it. I was going to do this where the 3 panels popped up, but when I saw Lou's card make, I thought, oh, I've got to share that. So I'll leave a link to her video down in the description if you'd like to see what she did. She used circle dies for her one. So that's it, folks. There is our Just Because card with our 3 window panels, and I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, you might give it a thumbs up. If you're a subscriber, thanks for subscribing, and if not, please do click the subscribe button and ding the bell. It doesn't cost you anything. It'll notify you the next time I have another card, and it will also help the algorithm. That way the YouTube algorithm will share my videos and it helps my channel to grow. If you are making any of the cards that I have shared with you or the others designers have shared with you, please do share them on the Love from Lizi Facebook group, and you can also share your card makes that I've made you on my YouTube or my Facebook group called Your Cards and Crafts. So that's it. All the links are down below in the description, as well as the measurements for this card. And I'm going to leave it there. I hope you have enjoyed this and give it a try. So until our next card, card number 9, thanks so much for watching and see you again soon. Bye for now.